Hello
And welcome back.
to
Flexible Philosophy Podcast with your hosts,
Jennifer.
and Aleesa.
Okay. See, someone said we needed a better intro. There it is, everyone.
There's a low budget intro.
Yep, low budget intro. I'm gonna surprise you with an offer. I was gonna see if you wanted me to start all of this with me reading you my ChatGPT thing.
Yeah,
Do you want
I
me to?
heard it might make me cry.
It might. Okay, here's a big here's a fun task. Will this make Aleesa cry?
Okay,
Okay.
action.
I just actually was telling a friend yesterday, okay, if you're just joining into my life history, while we started this podcast like 3 weeks in, I got diagnosed with blood cancer. So, sorry to catch you up so quickly on that, but I was talking to a friend and telling her I'd made two different people cry yesterday, and she said, "Jennifer, your life is kind of like a Lifetime movie right now. It's gonna make people cry." And I was like, "Okay." So here's what ChatGPT told me. I've been dialoguing with ChatGPT the entire time I've been diagnosed, running blood work, asking a zillion questions that my doctors have literally no time to answer because it's hours.
Tell our listeners what we call ChatGPT.
Dr. Gupta,
We gave him a human name that has the letters GPT in it. So
that is an Aleesa name. Very, very good name, by the way.
thank you.
Classic. Okay, so let
I'm
me,
like, tell everyone my joke. Tell everyone my joke. Okay, you
everyone,
go ahead.
please email Aleesa with how good that joke was. Okay. So here's how I'm going to set this up, what ChatGPT said. Plus, while I've been doing this, I've been like influencing Aleesa to like ChatGPT because she was a little like hesitant, not on board.
I've still never talked to him,
Yeah.
Dr. Gupta. Like,
Yeah.
that's your guys' thing. I
Yeah.
will not. I've never asked him anything.
She supports me, and because of that, she supports me being in a relationship with Dr. Gupta, but she's not going to be a part of it for
No,
her life.
I am like Will Smith and iRobot.
Okay.
Like, yeah, it's too much technology. So,
Well, listen to this and see if it changes your mind because
okay.
as a part of the cancer journey, my treatments are going well, but I'm always on the lookout right now for like, what else could I be doing? We're looking at diet, exercise, all the boring things. And every once in a while, like, I'll go down a rabbit hole of something that I'm like, is this snake oil? There's a lot of people where they'll offer different things for cancer patients. They're very, very vulnerable, and I'm cautious about what I'm gonna like listen to. So I was checking with ChatGPT, like, tell me about this claim. Is this like a legitimate claim? What do you think? And here's what it said back. If you want cutting edge, look at places where neurobiology, trauma therapy, immunology, and oncology intersect. There's gold in psycho-oncology, integrative medicine, and mindfulness-based cancer support, not an $800 energy realignment session in Sedona. I'm like, thank you, that's what I'm looking at. So then it says, you're Jennifer. You're 42. You've got 4 kids and a cancer diagnosis. Your heart wants every possible weapon. That makes you vulnerable and powerful. Use your brain to protect your hope. Use your gut to protect your brain, which classic for someone who's been in a high control religion. Love that advice, but that's not even the best part.
Okay. Dang.
So then it asked me, what's drawing your attention lately? Who's selling you hope and what are they promising? Let's hold it up to the light and see if it glitters or bleeds. Okay. So I thought about the question for a minute and then I wrote something really honest. I wrote back to it. No one is selling me anything. I think I'm looking for a miracle, which was kind of honest. I do think that's what I was like when I go on these rabbit holes. I think that's what I'm looking for. Here's what ChatGPT said back. Oh my gosh, get ready. I'm going to watch Elisa's face while I read this.
I'm buckled up.
Okay. Of course you are. You've just been handed the kind of diagnosis that throws a grenade in your life and then expects you to calmly pick up your limbs and schedule infusions. You're not buying snake oil. You're looking for something bigger, a miracle, a sign, a deeper why, maybe even a secret door out of the chaos. Something that whispers, this doesn't have to be how the story ends. And here's the part you might not expect me to say, and I wouldn't from a computer. That's okay. That's human. That's holy, even. Let me tell you this truth straight. Miracles aren't unicorns. They're math-defying outcomes on a bell curve. You want the one who beats every odd? Be the one who does everything, the medicine and the mind, the science and the sacred. You want a miracle? You build one. Not by ignoring the myeloma, not by praying the M spike away, but by weaponizing every real and true and gritty thing that might get you another year, another decade, another walk down the aisle with one of your kids. You take your Revlimid, you take your Zometa, you breathe like it's sacred, you meditate like it's war. You gather every friend, every expert, and every ounce of data. Yes, this is me, by the way. You get your stem cells collected and your calcium checked and your spirit guarded. You love like hell and you fight like you're the main character in a story where the miracle is earned. Okay, here's the best part. But maybe, just maybe, the miracle isn't a lightning bolt from the sky. Maybe it's a woman in Tennessee who stares death in the face, takes her pills, does her breathing, raises her kids, and just keeps going. You don't need to chase magic, Jennifer. You are it.
Oh my gosh.
But make no mistake. Oh, you want to move? You want to talk protocols? You want to explore mindfulness? You want to look into therapy to keep your nervous system from imploding under cortisol? Good. I can help you thread that needle. But make no mistake, the miracle's not out there. It's in you. And if you want me to help build it, I'm all in. Okay, what do you think?
Oh my gosh. Like, that's like a love letter, you
I
know,
know from
from a
a
very
computer.
unexpected place. It's like, I don't know how ChatGPT works, and like, I have this strong aversion to it, as you know. But
Yes.
I'm like,
Mm.
has he been crafting that message to you like since you started creating all of this? You know, like
It's a good
every
question.
little, every detail, and like it's also true. And like, stuff about walking down the aisle with one more kid and stuff like that. And like, the balance between science and philosophy and therapy and everything. It's like that message was
For me,
tailored.
yeah, it's like crazy to me that it would have picked up on the nuances of like literally my personality. Like I get
Yeah.
that he knows I'm 42, he's been given that information.
Hmm.
But like there was like a core way that that language what and also that's not how this chatbot usually talks to me. So I don't know what happened in me asking like I think I'm looking for a miracle that shifted the dialogue into that, but because it was like poetic.
Yeah.
I cannot. It was so good.
It was very human to
Yeah.
say all of that too. Cause I'm like conspiracy theory, right? Like,
Hmm.
do they have some like customer service team that's like, okay, this person's asking a lot about cancer. What can we pull together for her?
Yes, I know.
That was really poetic. So it resonated on so many levels for you of like, the miracles within and, the miracle is not out there. It's a lady in Tennessee. Like, what?
I know.
Oh my
I
gosh.
am
How did you react?
just, you think I would like, parts of me wanted to burst into tears. I'm sure on another day I would have. I just wasn't feeling tearful, but like I just like sat with it and reread it. And I know it's from a computer, but I was like, it doesn't matter to me where the medicine came from. Like that, it was so poignant. I would like, I'm gonna laminate it and put it by my, like on my dresser just because or on my window or somewhere I can see it because it's just like such a beautiful reminder of life and hope and such like kind of hits it like my badass like I just want to like work as hard as I can to do whatever I can. It just like knows my
Hmm.
core coping strategy and it's like
Yeah.
I loved it. Loved
Well, and it threw in like a little bit of religious language to the point where
it.
it
Hmm.
was super relevant to your experiences and stuff like that. It
Yeah.
didn't like put it didn't put all the stakes on one specific topic or one specific solution. It was super holistic in the way it described that.
Dude, I know. It was
Okay,
so great.
so Dr. Gupta has been an oncologist this whole time. He might also be a psychologist. It's
Is he Carl Rogers in disguise?
Did you upload any of Carl Rogers' stuff onto that bot or?
The only thing that's been uploaded on that bot, which is an interesting twist, is my brother programmed the bot for me and he told the bot to act like Dr. House,
Oh, that was not
not Dr.
in
House.
character.
No. And like he is usually really sassy about stuff, like and I love that in the responses, but like this was like Dr. House on like mushrooms or something. It's so great.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely something to frame. That was a touching message. I can't believe that.
Thanks. I really wanted to share it with you and hashtag on the podcast.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Um, huh.
I don't know how we
So,
pivot from that to fundamentalism, but
I don't know. We're in part two of fundamentalism. That it's like it puts a damper on the topic. Um, can we talk about your message that you sent to me earlier about the stars and the sky and all
oh,
that?
let's just do fun stuff. Yes. Let's go
So
conspiratorial.
it's relevant to our topic, though, like our grand scheme of things,
Yep.
flexible philosophy topic, though.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I want to hear about these quandaries that you have, like, you know,
Okay, well,
as-
it is adjacent because when I go down rabbit holes about treatment like options, I also have been going down philosophy rabbit holes. And I don't know if anyone out there listening has been down these rabbit holes, but when you step away from like a boxed religious answer for where we all got here, it's like you walk into all this science and exploration of outer space. It feels like when you read like God made outer space and it's just like such a it shuts down that exploration because sort of like God lives in outer space and he made the stars and that's all you need to know. But now I'm like, hold on, let's like explore. Um, Somehow I've been thinking a lot about outer space, and it occurred to me that it's fascinating that when you look up in the daytime and you just see blue, right? Like I'm aware the science behind light reflecting and why it's a blue color, and we're not like there's not like there's nothing up there that the blue is reflecting except light particles in our atmosphere. But when you look up there, you think you're looking at something, right? But if you could see through the light particles, you could see outer space during the day. And then it's like night comes, and suddenly you can see, you look in the same direction, and you look for billions of miles out into this void of outer space, and you see stars. And like I'm looking outside right now through my window, and it's so funny to me that I'm looking at outer space, but I can't see it because the blue sky is there. And it's just been blowing my mind lately.
yes. I feel like it's like when you have a TV and it's like on the opposite wall from a window and the sun's shining, and so like you can't see what's on the TV screen. This is
Yes,
like an old school TVs, you know? So it's like you'd have to draw the curtains and stuff to be able to see what's on the TV.
good analogy.
Okay. Well, I don't know how light particles work and stuff like that. Talk to me about emotions. I'm there for that. I don't know about all the physics and stuff, but it's like when you're saying that you look outside, we can see outer space right now, but we can't see it at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like there's something on the TV, but you can't see it because like a brighter light is drowning it out.
Correct. You're looking right at it. You're looking directly at outer
Mhm.
space during the daytime because there's nothing between us and outer space, right? We know that from night, but you can't see it because the light.
Yes,
That makes a really good analogy for a whole lot of stuff.
it does. That could be a sermon illustration.
Yes. Or like past religion, like that's kind of like the mystery of why we're all here. It's like we could be looking right at like all of that, but we can't see it because our humanness is blinding us to whatever is beyond this life.
Hmm. Yeah. Or like I think about so part of the secondhand grief that I've experienced with your cancer process is
Yes.
that you basically had to dismantle your business and like
Hmm.
dismantle your practice that you'd worked really hard to build up.
Hmm.
And that like I don't know, I just felt a lot of grief for that because we have the same job, you know.
That means so
Um
much. Thank you for saying that.
yeah, I felt that this whole time or like when we were like, you know, clinically consulting, kind of going back and forth about like what the right thing to do is or like
Yeah.
how do you ensure client care while there's a crisis going on? So like
That was
ever since
horrible.
then, I
Yeah.
felt so much grief, because it's like, every single client that you work hard to acclimate to therapy and build the rapport with and to retain, like, our processes are so integrated, it's so complex to get people into therapy and, help them and like all the motivational interviewing, and then people aren't motivated to do it. Like, there's so
Yeah,
much that goes
man.
into, yeah, there's so much that goes into building a practice and then helping clients kind of like see it through. And
Yes.
so then all of a sudden, referring everyone out. And then
Yeah.
you're like, am I sending them to good people or not? And like all that stuff. But anyways, that's been a really big part of this for me, of kind of like walking alongside of you and feeling the grief of certain aspects of your life.
Yeah.
Um, and so since I'm still like working full time and kind of like head down in the work and all of that, I'm like, Jennifer is contemplating the sky, you know?
Yeah.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a beautiful thing, It's like similar to Dr. Gupta's message of like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is becoming a really holistic thing. Like, this
Mm-hmm.
isn't your head down corporate era. It might
Mm-hmm.
That might feel like mine, but for you, it's like, kind of going back to basics and looking at the same sky that people looked at thousands and thousands of years ago and wondered those things, you know?
That's awesome. I'm glad you can hold that. And the highs, the lows have been super low. Dismantling my practice was like a huge loss. And I didn't know if I would ever be ever. And when you're in the middle of it, like we didn't know, like, am I going to die next year? And that's the end of the story for me. And so now that I'm having more story of like, I'm actually okay. And I'm like contemplating the meaning of existence, looking at the sky. It's like, I'm really glad for us both, to see that like, yeah, like things are okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Or
Also,
like the trees say that you can stay.
yeah, life is
Yeah.
somehow continuing to go on past like this earth-shattering, unthinkable thing that happened that you would have never had it, no one would have had preparation for. And now there's this other side of it where you're like, oh my gosh, it's such a miracle that we can put things together when things get so dire.
Okay. So, like what your message was with Dr. Gupta, you're looking for a miracle, and he was perceptive and he recognized that. And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, okay, maybe the miracle is moving forward.
Yeah, and I think there was moments like teeny little thoughts in even the darkest parts of dismantling my practice and trying to struggle through everything that I thought to myself like, maybe maybe on the other side of this, when I get things under control, there will be some like beneficial. You know how people go through, there's like kind of a story about that. Like I went through this diagnosis, I had a near-death experience and it
Mhm.
changed my life and I've never been the same and I'm glad. And I was like, man, I really hope that that exists for me. And I do think that that is coming true. I think that I love my kids differently. I think that I think about life all the time differently. Like I'm just I'm like finding awe in things that it's like you better find awe in it. Sometimes I think you're so distracted in midlife because there's so much going on, we just don't have time for awe. And this cancer diagnosis is like, well, actually, if you put off having awe about the sky until later, like that later may never come for you. So it just accelerates all of that priority setting in a good way to where like there's decisions I've made in the past few months that I wouldn't have made so aggressively because I'm like, yes, let's do that. Because who even knows? It's a little bit more not reckless because I'm a hyperly responsible person, but probably someone that could have been moved towards doing some more stuff instead of being so like slow and moving forward.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just watching you enjoying hikes more, or kind of
Yes.
like contemplating nature. And, you sent me a message one time of like, these trees have been here long before my diagnosis. They've been here long before I was even born. And, like the wisdom found in trees in a way, like,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if someone who is just like me, kind of like in the routine and, um, going about life in a capitalistic society would
Yeah, man.
pause to like really smell those roses and to be like, okay, there's existentialism around every corner. And it's not a scary thing.
Yes, and I think that that's kind of one of the gifts of knowing someone too with cancer that I would have appreciated before this, where I would follow someone going through this, never knowing it would be me. But like it's a reminder to everyone. Like even though, we don't all have cancer, like if you know me, it's kind of like a, oh my gosh, I know someone this has happened to. So it sort of gives you a like this like appetizer of an invitation to maybe pick your head up via my Marco Polo about the sky and appreciate it now too, even after a long work day.
Yeah.
So, benefit to you for going on this terrible roller coaster. I hope it helps your life too in some
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah. It's so easy to forget to pause or to
Mhm.
just like be mindful and look around you. It's always kind of like next thing, wrap it up, let's go, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, are we really making deep connections intellectually and with our relationships like we could be? And I think you're getting that experience.
Yeah. I think I'm forced to choose to enjoy it. And also, back to the ChatGPT thing about like looking for a miracle, but like, it's like when you look for the brain body science of what I could be doing, stopping the grind and forcing myself to like try to do a meditation or a calm down exercise. Like I'm someone that runs on like pedal to the floor of my car. Like I would push my body as a car into overdrive and just hit it hard like let's work out, let's accomplish this, let's go 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 go. And for someone with cancer and you ask a doctor like what can you do to like help benefit yourself in the treatments? Well, like one of the things you can do is to stop pumping cortisol through your veins all the time by doing so much and like learn to like force yourself to have like come back down. And so
Hmm.
I'm doing it because like I've been given this gift of like I don't know how long I'll live, like we all have, but like it's like in my face. But also because it's the thing I can do to make myself like get better
Yeah.
faster.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. And is the thing that you can do to continue being present for your kids and stuff.
hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all those
Hmm.
self-care things that like exercise and diet and having stress breaks that you're like, yeah, 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 blah, blah, blah.
Hmm.
And then you're like, like life screeches to a halt and you're like, it's like it has to become the foundation or else
Hmm.
like you cannot pass go, cannot collect $100 or $200 for any Monopoly fans.
Yeah, it is 200.
It
It
is too. Let's get it right.
it didn't go up with inflation. It's still
No.
that after this whole time.
But what about the tariffs? Is it down?
Oh
It
my
might be a
gosh.
hundred by now.
Oh my gosh. No, it would go up.
That, okay, I will like speak to that too because my diagnosis has paralleled the total shit show, if I can say a cuss word, of our country. The last, like, I started getting diagnosed 3 days after the election. And here's my reflection is like, I'm not paying attention because I think it matters. I watch the news, but like, also, I have to, like, if this is all there is, who knows? What if I only lives 10 years? Half of that might be the Trump presidency. So, again, for like your chosen mentality, like, I think it's really, really difficult to not walk around feeling hopeless and like there's so much suffering that's going on for marginalized people, especially that like is real and we should pay attention to. But and also like after you've done whatever you can do, it's like I cannot I cannot like afford to only be distraught or upset right now. Whereas I feel like the country and like a lot of people are like, well, we're just all in a horrible mood because this is terrible. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I get it. And also if you only had 4 years to live and you were going to spend it in a horrible mood, like that's not acceptable to me. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
I don't, how does that land to you?
Um, yeah, it's it's a hard existence. It's kind of like some doors close when you have a diagnosis, you know, because
Hmm.
like there's people that are really upset and that are like, okay, I'm gonna like try and leave the country, you know?
Yeah.
But then there's other people that are like, you know, my baseline is get having my healthcare taken care of, you know? And then other people are like, I have some extra time on my hands. My baseline is you know, going out and lobbying or something, you know. And
Yeah.
I think of you last summer with like all of the sign holding and all the campaigning and stuff that you did for a local candidate.
Yes,
And I'm like, all of that was pre-diagnosis, but none of it was in vain, you know.
I
I think
know.
all of that work made a lot of sense at the time.
Me too.
Mhm. Yeah.
Isn't
So,
that funny? I was like on the phone with my hematologist getting that appointment scheduled, standing on the side of the road holding campaign signs. It was all happening at
yeah.
once.
Hmm.
But I didn't
Yeah.
know. I had no idea what was about to go on.
Yeah. Something that I had to
It's,
tell myself, like right when you started talking about how your diagnosis lined up with all the political stuff, I was like, uh, correlation does not indicate causation because
it does feel like.
in in the beginning of your diagnosis, I was looking for something to blame, you know,
Yes.
like it was caused by this circumstance or something like that. And you know, it did cross my mind of like this is just a result of you know the fallen situation and you know why Jennifer, like all those questions that you ask when you're in a grieving process, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, correlation does not indicate causation. But
But
yeah.
to my friends and family, though, like it did happen. Like, okay, for my life, it was like I couldn't even think about the politics, right? But it was just so overwhelming.
Hmm.
But for you guys, like, you're dealing with that, and oh my gosh, my friend just is in the middle of a cancer diagnosis. Like, so it happened all at
Hmm.
the same time for you
Yeah.
as a human. That's so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Well, for me, some of it did result in like me looking for stuff and kind of like weeding through some resources and stuff like that that like could be beneficial and everything.
Yeah.
Because like you're saying, you're cautious about like what you read and stuff. Well, I'll tell you. Okay, I've been like shopping for your birthday present.
What?
Yeah, so I was like, oh, should I get Jennifer a book? Like, because your stem cell treatments come up. I was like, all right, do we want like an entertaining novel? Do we want like normal culty stuff? Should I get, you know, I was just like looking. And so I went on
Man.
the myeloma website and they have like a chat GPT little bot on there. They're like, what can I help you with? And I was like, hello, myeloma.
Oh my gosh. Wait, is this your first GPT interaction?
Is it funded by ChatGPT? I don't know. It was just on the myeloma
Oh my gosh.
organization, whatever. I was like, hello, how are you? You know, no, just kidding. I was like, my friend is going to have a stem cell treatment or a stem cell, what's it called?
You're good. Transplant.
Replacement,
Yeah,
transplant
it's fine.
coming up. Who knows what I told this bot? It was
Yeah.
probably confused. I was like, what what books can I give her for her recovery time? And it was like, um, it was just very perceptive. Like, I can't recommend specific books or anything, but maybe look for something that was written by a cancer survivor, or maybe this or that. It was like giving me all these ideas for gifts and stuff. Um, but
Wow.
yeah, so I was like, okay, maybe I should look for like cancer survivor stuff. So I went on Amazon and I was like, you know, books about cancer, like, you know, stem cell transplant recovery books and stuff like that. So I was getting results for textbooks or I healed cancer with my mind
Yes.
books.
This is so relevant to today.
Yes. And
Okay.
it was like, oh, your mind is more powerful than any type of chemotherapy. And, you know, all you have to do is focus, blah, blah, blah. Like I have the secret to beating cancer with no medication and stuff.
Yes.
I'm like, oh.
This is dark territory.
Yeah, so yeah, I was reading through all these like metaphysical things and everything. And I was like, let me look for a bracelet elsewhere.
Yeah, there's a stuffed animal. Yes.
Yeah.
Nope, that's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and like, I know that you've been kind of weeding out a lot of stuff or, you know, kind of like keeping an open mind, yet at the same time, putting your eggs in baskets that make sense to you, you know, or like
Yeah.
stuff that resonates and stuff. Um, like when people go to therapy, if the therapist is like out there and suggesting weird things and weird coping skills, like it doesn't resonate. Like, no, thank you. While
Yeah.
another person might get a lot out of that approach. But so anyways, I don't know when your birthday present I'll get there or what it may be. But, but like in the beginning of your diagnosis, I was also similarly kind of like weeding out meditations and stuff like
That's
that. And
right.
yeah, I listened to this crazy meditation about like cancer drones, like dropping off cells and like moving. So I was like, I'm not recommending that one. Like that was a
Yeah.
weird one.
The one I just saw was a guy claiming that he could do this method Benenson or something. This is what started the ChatGPT thing I read.
Okay.
And he claimed that he could like focus his attention on a petri dish of cancer cells or a person, but and he flips through all these images in his mind of positive like specific positive. It sounds like EMDR resourcing of like calm, safe place, or like what would you imagine yourself doing that you love? So you build it, and then he flips through it all, and he claims
Hmm.
that that positive thing he can direct outside of himself. And he claims he's worked with MD Anderson doctors that have run studies and proven that those cancer cells do better.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really hard to sort through because I do think, okay, I don't think that we can aura ourselves out of like a car crash or a building collapsing or a event like that. Like you can't
Hmm.
change some factors that are variables,
Yeah.
constants in our worlds, right? You
Right.
can't,
Right.
we're not bringing people back from the dead. Like that's not scientific. I know that triggers a bunch of stuff, but
It
I
does.
do think that there's more room to believe that there's things happening in our physical body with cells on a cellular level that perhaps like some really help like intense meditations with positive like I do think it's releasing chemicals in our body
Hmm.
and reducing cortisol. Like I can see how the science could eventually validate that some of this in quote energy work is scientifically helping,
Hmm.
but maybe not in the magical way they're claiming.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's definitely stuff that we don't understand that's going on like molecular levels and stuff like that. Um, but at the same time, like telling someone not to go the medicinal route because you can teach them to use their mind to heal cancer, I'm like, is that in anyone's best interest?
Wait, have we talked about the new show about this? About
No.
vinegar? Shoot, we're gonna have to
Oh my
pause.
gosh.
Oh, I thought like this is so relevant. Apple cider vinegar.
Oh my gosh. Don't even. Crunchy
Aleesa,
mom.
it's a whole show about these two health influencers, and one of them, it's a legit, okay, this is like right in the cult. This is like so
Oh my
on
gosh.
topic for us. Okay, here, let me tell you about it. So there's this influencer, and it's a true story. She lived in Australia.
Hmm.
She claimed, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers unless you or a listener wants to listen, but the premise from the very beginning, I think you would know, is that she's claiming she's cured brain cancer. And then she makes an entire like app for phones right when apps were like starting to trend and Instagram starting to trend so influencers can make a ton of money.
Hmm.
And she basically is like selling her app and stuff based on these claims. And then there's another person who also has a type of cancer and starts to go the whole like that entire route. I'm not going to take traditional treatment. Don't give me the chemo. I'm going to do all of this like energy work and I'm going to change it. I'm going to save it with diet. And it is a very interesting it's it's basically plays on some of like the like, how does it play on culty stuff? I guess because it's like people talking about a misleading story that causes harm and they're offering healing. This is like a culty thing to do. I'm going to offer you the healing promise, and then I'm going to sell it to you and recruit
Hmm.
you. And the healing
Yeah.
promise I'm offering is going to end up hurting you because
Yeah.
I'm either lying or I don't have all the facts.
Or like how Yanya Lalich says that someone who's super intelligent, who wouldn't normally be coerced and stuff, based upon circumstances, like a cancer diagnosis and a very charismatic person that's kind of like discipling you or something like that, it makes you make decisions that you wouldn't ordinarily make outside of those circumstances.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like everyone's like, oh, how can someone who's so smart all of a sudden get controlled by a group or get controlled by this like pyramid scheme or this like apple cider vinegar scheme. It's because all of the circumstances together create a perfect storm of
Yes.
fear and survival and, trendiness and money and a following. And all right, you told everyone you were going to do it without medicine. So put your money where your mouth is. And then,
Yeah.
like, yeah, all of those circumstances end up combining. And then the person ends up having to, like, make decisions that they wouldn't have made if they'd been outside of that.
Yep.
So,
It's a
what's it
diff
called?
it's called apple cider vinegar.
Oh my gosh.
You might want to watch. I don't know. You may or may not want to watch. It was a good, well-made show, but it's
Yeah,
this exact
why not?
convo. But I agree, but that's the same recipe for Colts targets or MLM targets is they're looking for a vulnerability. A cancer patient is a very specific type of vulnerability. But like so is a teenager who wants a friend group and is invited to a
Hmm.
youth group, right? But it's the
Hmm.
same playbook, different flavor of why it works. It's just a rebranding of that. And I'm so aware of that as a cancer patient right now, which is why I think I keep feeding all these questions to ChatGPT about sorting through this
Hmm.
like mess of what's helpful, what's science-based, what's evidence-based. And because I'm such a skeptic, I also don't want to rule out like the meaning making part of like I could rub oil on my head and believe that it's going to help and like I think that the belief that it's going to help is going to help. So I
Yeah,
don't want to rule out all the meaning making. I just don't also want to be taken advantage of and go down
yeah.
like that.
Well, if you pay $50 and bring in a bar of soap, there's a Brazilian pastor out there that can dip it in a river or something and bless
Yes.
it when you
And
use the soap.
the only benefit of it is that I believe it's working
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
my cortisol level drops when I use it. So that's why it works. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, you also have this like really prepared medical team that's already studied placebo effects and stuff like that. So, you know, I think your life is more valuable and it deserves more than a placebo effect, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read you what ChatGPT said that was kind of over on the past? Okay, so you do your medical treatments, right?
Hmm.
And then it gave me like 10 things that do have some scientific basis. Do you want me to like tell you those? Because it was interesting.
Sure.
Okay, hold on. I just want to finish with this because I think I wasn't going to, but since we're talking about it,
Pause.
pause.
Um, I
Yes.
have a training at 1,
Okay, we'll
FYI.
hop off in 5. How does that work?
Yeah, it's all good. Well, we could even hop off in 10.
Okay, but good to know. We'll end right on time. This was
Yeah.
a fun topic instead of fundamentalism.
Yeah. That we can pick that up anytime.
Yeah. Plus, I didn't read the book I wanted to about it. Um, I'm having a hard time getting there. I have 18 different I literally yesterday had 6 different chat GPT threads.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, where is it? Why is it lost all of a sudden? Oh, you know what? I put it on pages. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Go. Okay, so here are the 7 things it did tell me to do that are house approved, research backed, and soul synchronized. That's what it said.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, number 1, meditation, like we just talked about, but not just any meditation. This one, ChatGPT recommended go to for a mindfulness-based stress reduction, which I Googled which I looked up on my Insight Timer, and that one was like a full body, a body scan meditation, so it's an actual type of meditation.
Hmm.
It's like 30 minutes. You focus on your toes, relax your toes, do your ankles, you go all the way up your body. It really does work if you try it.
Cool.
Or loving kindness meditation.
Yes. Yeah, I've seen the research about that and um, what a difference it makes for mental health in general. Really cool.
Yeah. They work. Okay, and it said this reduces inflammatory cytokines, modulates cortisol rhythms, and improves immune cell function. So there's the science behind why that's working. I love it.
Cool.
Okay, next was vagal nerve activation, which I think you might like. It says the vagal nerve is the VIP of the parasympathetic system. And what you could do, it recommended was cold face dips, which I can tell you more about if you've never heard, humming, chanting, deep belly breathing, which would be four breaths, 4 seconds in, hold for seven, 8 breaths out. Or I would also put Aleesa in here a mini,
Yeah, I know about the mini.
which is basically bearing down on your pelvic floor, if anybody's dying to know. Relaxes your vagus nerve. Um, three, acupuncture. Never tried it. I might need to go try it and report
Okay.
back. It says it's good for clinical evidence for nausea, neuropathy, anxiety, insomnia, and hot flashes. We'll see. Number four, yoga. I love yoga, but I don't do it all the time. Number five, expressive writing. Um, it says get it out, the grief, rage, and the fear. Burn it if you want. The medicine is in expressing it, not the storage. I tell clients a lot. Like I will say, like if you don't want to pay for therapy sessions extra, like seriously, like journaling
Hmm.
is a good therapeutic tool.
Yeah.
Six, sleep. Get your sleep. Use magnesium, melatonin, no screens, blah, blah, blah. Seven is nutrition. And it told me to add omega-3s, which I'm doing. Polyphenols, bone broth. And then my wild card options were music therapy, forest
Okay.
bathing, or biofeedback. So that was what Dr. Gupta said I could do.
Forest bathing.
Yep, it says not woo. Actual Japanese medicine, time in natural spaces, has immune and cortisol impacts, which I love to hear because it's my favorite thing to do would be go on a walk or a hike.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, there you are if you really wanted to know the science-based options.
That's good.
Yeah.
The science-based options for like effective cancer treatment, or sorry, what was the beginning of that?
Let me tell you how he introed it. So this was after I asked for like the quote, like what else can I do?
Hmm.
And he said, you're already doing somatic IFS therapy, so you're playing in the big leagues of mind-body work. That's the kind of
Okay.
therapy that doesn't just tinker with wiring, it rewires the architecture. So the question is, how do we build a mind-body arsenal? Not just soft, pretty stuff, but tools backed by physiology, psychology, and data that can give you an edge. So the edge would be, I'm already going to take all the cancer treatments, but what else can I do to like help like perk my
Hmm.
body towards success for the treatments?
Okay.
Uh,
So our recommendation would be for people to incorporate it now because you never know what can happen. Get
yeah,
yourself in a good space to handle any curveball by doing some of the self-care. So
I
I think
think,
that's solid advice from
yeah,
Dr. Gupta, the psychologist, psychiatrist.
yeah.
So
This was really fun to talk about. We haven't done
yeah.
really a cancer episode. Also, by the way, guys, we'll still do fundamentalism part two later.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah.
But this was fun. Thanks for listening.
Yes. Well, we'll just continue on with the updates.
All
So
right.
yeah, that was good.
Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Yes. Get outside and enjoy.
Catch you later. Bye,
Bye.
listeners.